me to the peak without no regret. You got no love without no love. You got no regret without no regret. You got no love. A melody where I belong in this life.
And with another T-Boy discusses, obviously a big game like they all are in the Premier League. Another one coming up. This time it's on TV Friday night to start off the weekend. Obviously, we take on Chelsea away. And yeah, quite a lot of people on this panel today. First of all, like always, Dad is here. How are we, Dad?
Yeah, all good, mate. I hope everyone's cool.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And then a regular people know on this channel, obviously does up the clipping and all of that as well. Hanno, mate, how are you?
I'm good. Good, Tyler, yeah. Nervous and excited, almost. So, yeah.
Fair enough, mate, fair enough. And then a new person on the channel. It's good to finally have him on the channel. Obviously, it's been in the works for a while, especially building up to this game. And that is Goonie from Man Knows Football.
What's going on, people? Thank you for having me on, man. Appreciate you inviting me on.
No worries at all. But obviously, we are here, of course, as we all know, for the game tomorrow. And it's an interesting one. You know, I'm hearing mixed reactions from both sets of fans, you know, going into it due to, obviously, you know, Chelsea's previous game. Obviously, Luton have had a week off as well. And it's all interesting. But obviously, to start off, I'll go into a bit of insight going into it. And then, obviously, we'll get everyone's thoughts. So Chelsea have won their last 3 meetings with Luton in all competitions, with all of these games coming in the FA Cup between 1994 and 2022. This is the first league meeting between Chelsea and Luton since December 1991, and a 2-0 win for the Hatters at Kenilworth Road in the top flight. Chelsea have won just one of their last 14 Premier League games, drawing 5, losing 8, and are winless in their last 8 at home, drawing 5, losing 3. During each of the last 3, they last went longer, without a league victory at Stamford Bridge between 1994 and 1995, a run of 12, while they last drew 4 consecutive league games on home soil in February 2016. And then Luton are set to become just the second side to see each of their first 2 Premier League games come away from home after Blackpool in August 2010. And then the last one, following their draw with Liverpool on match day 1 and defeat at West Ham on match day 2, Chelsea could begin a Premier League campaign without winning any of their first 3 games for the first time since 1998 to 99, where they drew 2 and lost 1. So based on that, we'll go to Goonie first. How are you feeling after hearing all of that and just in general going into this game?
I mean, not overly confident. I mean, the history between the 2 clubs in terms of results is in our favor. However, I'm not really looking at history. I'm looking at the current situation that we're in now, because we're also in a very new part of our history, a very uncertain point of our history. So we don't know what the future looks like at the minute. We've got a brand new team. We've yet again got a brand new manager. And one thing that I will say, because a lot of Chelsea fans are going to expect me to be overly optimistic about this, we should be going and we should be beating Luton. 2 things. I never like to play newly promoted teams. That's one. I like to try and avoid those within the first at least 8 fixtures of the games. I like to avoid newly promoted teams. Why I say that is because you guys have still got that bounce off your promotion into the Premier League. There's still that excitement. There's still that buzz. That's still there. So to play you as our 3rd game, it's going to be very tricky. And the second thing is obviously based on the form of how we've been and what I've seen in our previous 2 games. Liverpool was a good performance, in my opinion, all things considered. West Ham was very disappointing. I put a lot of that on the manager and partially on the squad. But I just think the team selection and the way we were shaped to go against West Ham was perhaps a bit of a mistake on the manager's behalf. But if he can rectify those problems and start playing players in positions that they're comfortable in, and also playing formations that make sense, that are perhaps not too overly pragmatic against you guys, and we're brave and we go for it, we can certainly get a result. I'll be honest. But it just remains to be seen. It's down to what the manager's going to do. Like, I don't know what Pochettino's going to do. Is he going to go with a back five again, or is he going to go with a back four? Based on either or will depend on where I'm seeing this game going. So it's quite a difficult question for me to answer.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. That's fair enough. It's all interesting, especially, like you say, I've seen a lot of fans want a change of formation. Obviously due to how it all went in the last game. So it's going to be interesting in that sense. We'll move over to you, Dad. How are you feeling for us going into this one?
Well, you've got to be confident, but the thing is, it's still apprehension there because, as I said to you earlier, like because we've had that 13-day break, it's almost like we're starting again rather than having momentum from game to game. So there's that there. Obviously, I've watched both of Chelsea's games. Definitely was a good performance against Liverpool. Just looked vulnerable in certain areas at times, from set pieces and things like that. And that's kind of where we can hurt Chelsea. They're obviously probably going to have most of the ball, etc., etc. They're at home. So it's just a bit apprehensive, really, to see what I know we've got. Like say, it's 50-50. Some fans are expecting, you've seen comments, Tyler, if this is less than 7-0, but that's on the silly end of the scale. Chelsea have got enough quality still to beat us comfortably. But if we perform like we know we can, then we could pull off a shot. But
Yeah.
That's how I'm feeling going.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And then something I'd like to touch on as well, when you said about set pieces, we've seen that in the recent years. When we played Chelsea, obviously the FA Cup game, that's where we got the early goal, wasn't it, from a set piece. So you've seen that. But Hanno, anything you'd like to add on what's been said?
No, look, I think Gunny and that has hit the nail on the head. From Chelsea's perspective, I'm really nervous for this game because I don't know what to expect. Was it going to have a whole new front four, basically, with Jackson and Sterling going to stay in it? No recognized number 10. Lots of changes to do with the team, and we don't know what to expect from Poch because, like, he switched it up with the back three when we played back for all preseason. And like your dad mentioned, corners, free kicks. We know you got that aerial threat, Lockyer, Bell, even Anderson is there. And Charles, when you're on the counter, with his speed and his lead crossing, could be definitely a problem for us. So I'm not expecting us to go out and bat you guys 3-4. No, I would love that, but I don't expect it. So yeah.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. That's fair enough. What we'll do, we'll go through some comments. Big up to Chris. He says, big up, I'll be at work by the time you see this. Have a great stream. Big up to yourself, mate. I know you're always watching them back. He has dropped his prediction as well, so we'll get into that later. He's got a few questions for you to Chelsea fans. He says, what's Chelsea fans' thoughts on their owners? Chris says, I think in long term, they'll be successful. Just need to learn from last season's mistakes. Whether they will is another thing. So,
I'm to be honest with the owners at the moment. again, it's still very early. I'm one of the fans that perhaps has a little bit more patience than most in terms of this, and it's still very early. But I see what they're trying to implement. You know, the questions came up. What are we trying to do? What direction are we going? Well, clearly, with this investment of young players, that's the direction that we're going in. So there's no use fighting against that. That's what the club are going for, and we're going to have to hope that it's going to yield results. Now, within that process, I do feel that they've been naive and I do feel that mistakes have been made. I think one of the most crucial mistakes that was made by Todd Bowley was coming into the club without getting that director of football in, head of recruitment in, similar to Roman Abramovich done that when he first took over the club. He went up to United, he took Peter Kenyon and he brought him with him and then started making the decisions. Whereas Todd Bowley done the opposite. He started going in there trying to mingle and make decisions, and then they turned out to all be bust, the majority of them. Well, half of them now are not at the club. They've been sold on already. So that's an acknowledgement of a mistake. So these are things that have happened along the process. But now, like, there's a small margin for mistakes based on the pressure that we've put on ourselves. We've put a lot of money into this project. Yes, we've sold a lot, but the only thing that people are seeing is the money that was spent, and it is close to £1 billion now. So we got to start getting things right. Otherwise, this could be a very expensive mistake. And at Chelsea, we want to see trophies, and we want to see them soon. Like even as this season that I'm talking about, I want to see a trophy, at least a domestic one. So the owners, I'm still giving them time in terms of judgment. This season obviously is going to be very crucial to that. We've got to see what Poch does with this team, and we've got to see how the season ends. So it's sort of like where we are right now. It's the judgments come season after season because it's still very early. So like what I say to you now might be a completely different message at the end of this season. So I have to be very careful to not kind of give absolutes. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, no,
Yeah, no,
I know
spot
what you mean there.
spot on.
Is there anything you want to add on that, Hanno?
I think one thing to add is, look, they are definitely trying to rectify their mistakes, and they're trying something that's very brave, and if it does fail, um, they will get the blame. Trying something very brave, going with all these youngsters, and if it doesn't turn out, then it will be, like Uni said, a very expensive mistake.
Yeah, yeah, no, absolutely. Let's go through some more. Big up to Stephen. He says, big up Ty, big up yourself, mate. He says, big up to everyone else as well inside. So big up to yourself, mate, one of the regulars. Big up to Luca as well in the chat. He says, big up yourself, mate. Again, he's got in his score predictions. We'll go through that later. And then big up to Chelsea fan inside as well. So yeah, there's that. And then everyone's put in a lot of score predictions. So yeah, that is that. But what we're getting to now is we'll move on to what you guys reckon will be the Chelsea lineup, and then obviously me and my dad will get into ours later. So, what do you reckon it will be going into this one? What would you do if you could pick?
What
Let
we will
Hannah go
do,
first.
or Poch.
What's that? Sorry.
What we will do, or what do you think Poch will do?
What you would want to do if you could decide?
Back four. Um, Sanchez in goal. Gusto. I don't know about Guni, but I haven't been impressed with Gusto.
Good
Back
player,
four.
very good player.
Mm, I'm going to go with Cowell um and probably, who's the other one? What's his name? Who's the one that started next to Silva Guni?
Disasi.
Yeah, the sassy. Him and Cowell probably. I would go inexperienced because I don't think you have that Premier League experience really to almost threaten us that much. With so that they need that much experience really. And then left back, if he's going to play left mid, left wing, then I won't start him. But if it's just going to be a left back, Chilwell, and then midfield probably of Caicedo, Enzo, and then Gallagher as the 10, and then Madueke, Sterling, and Jackson up top. But a change I would bring in maybe is Santos, Caicedo, and Enzo. We go 4-3-3 and not 4-2-3-1. Um, but either one I'm happy with. So
I'll
Fair
go with
enough.
what I'll go with what I think Poch will do. I think he'll go Sanchez in goal. I think he's actually going to go with Levi Colwill as left back, Silva and Disasi as the centre back, and Gusto as the right back. He's going to go with a pivot of Caicedo and Fernandez. He's going to go with Ben Chilwell as the left winger, Gallagher as the 10, Sterling as the right winger, and Jackson up top. I have a feeling that's what he's going to go with because that's what we saw against West Ham as well. And I have a feeling he's going to repeat it again.
I don't
Fair
like
enough.
that.
Fair enough. That's interesting. That is very interesting. You know, obviously.
By the way, I don't agree with that lineup whatsoever. By the way, it's going with what I think Poch is going to go with.
Yeah.
But
Go on,
what
Hannah.
do you think about Gusto Kune?
I think he's a very good player. I was very happy when we signed him. I see him play at Lyon, and he's a player that I've mentioned earlier in my channel that I've said keep an eye on. Good player. So we got a good player on our hands there. He didn't come to just bro. He didn't come to just play second fiddle to Reece James. He came to compete for that position. Trust me, he's that good.
Ah, I need something from him. Um,
Lucas says Chelsea need world class striker. Balogun is good potential, but he isn't world class. Yeah, what's your thoughts on this? Obviously, you've been rumored with him. Yesterday, I saw a lot of it. Is it still going on? And how would you feel if it did happen?
Kune can go on this one.
Balogun, we're not going to sign him. I can categorically tell you, we're not going to pay 50 million for him, and that's what Arsenal value him at, and they're not looking to drop the price. Chelsea value. Oh shit! I heard an echo.
It's all right. It does a lot. Don't worry about that.
Chelsea value him at about 30, 35 million. So that's a massive gap in valuation. So I think it's safe to say that we're not going to be exploring that option. But in terms of signing a world class striker, although I very much agree, and I'm sure probably, Hannah agrees as well, who out there is world class and is realistically available? That's the question. Because right now, Haaland is world class, but he's not available. Benzema's just gone to Saudi Arabia. I can't really think of many more world class strikers out there. There are some, but I just can't think off the top of my head. Do you know what I mean? So there's not really one that's available this summer. But I don't want Chelsea to go and panic buy just for the sake of buying. I want them to be smart and perhaps say, okay, we'll wait till January and see what becomes available then. Because Ivan Toney now starts training. You never know. One of these young players over in Germany or France, because there's several names, might, have a freak season and there might be interest developed in that striker. So there are variables to this. We need it, but should we go for it now? I don't know.
Just to add to
Yeah.
that,
I was just going to mention Ollie Watkins as well. Yeah, he's looking good at the moment. And
I don't think.
he's
I
consistent.
think let's develop first a bit more under Emery, but I think we've identified the striker we need, and that's a type of striker, and that's a striker like Jackson. The only problem is, um, he his finishing isn't all that, but it's two games into the Premier League, for him, and there hasn't been really much setters. Maybe two, two or three in the Liverpool and in the West Ham game. So I think there's still room to develop for Jackson. I think wait till January, see some of the situation then. I would take Ola Watkins, but not now. I would give him a season more under Emery. But I also don't think he's the type of striker we're looking for if we compare him to Jackson. Um, but yeah, I don't know. Tony, what do you think?
Jackson, for me, I'll be real, he's not a striker. That guy for me is more of an inside forward. He operates. He likes to come off that left channel, let's go through and go from then. Or he likes to come off that channel and he likes to link up with another forward. So that's why during preseason he was getting the goals, because he was linking up well with Christopher Nkunku, who understood his role between the two of them. So for me, he looks more of an inside forward rather than a striker, which is why, I think this should really be a short-term solution, playing him there. And once we do identify a good enough striker, we might actually see him move out to either being a second striker or an inside forward, like I said, on that left channel coming in.
Yeah, no, absolutely agree with that. We'll move on to our lineup, Dad. What we'll go into. We won't do the usual where we get it up. I'll just say a name and then you say if you agree with me. So in goal, I'd still go Kaminsky. Like I said, obviously he was my man of the match against Brighton. Might sound mad to some people because he conceded 4, but if you watch the game, he prevented it from being even more. And he looked very good. Obviously, that was his Premier League debut as well. And even though we have got Krul in, he's very good when it comes to experience. I feel it'd be a bit harsh to not put, Kaminsky in after that performance. So, agree with me there?
Yeah. As you said, good debut. He's got a bit of pedigree. He's still 30. He's got the natural attributes to be a Premier League goalkeeper. I'm sure we'll see that over the season. He's already showing signs of that. And that was another reason why we didn't look to keep Ethan, because we watched him, week in and week out, and he didn't have that kind of. You need that presence as well. He was a bit timid in certain situations, and Kaminsky is definitely not. And Krul certainly is not like that either. So, yeah, I'd 100% be starting.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And then obviously, me personally, I'd probably still go with the back three with wing backs because it's just what we know. Some people might not, and I understand, it's away from home, but I'll still go with what we know, especially with, players being out defensively. We don't really know who's back. Obviously, Osho's still out. Burke has been training, but we're not sure if he's going to be, in for this game. Obviously, Potts is out as well. So there's a few. So the back three, I'd probably still go with what it was, against Brighton, because I'm surprised we haven't announced someone in the last, 2 days. Obviously, we've been, Twanzabi's been training with us. I thought maybe that would be announced. Obviously, we had Tanganga rumours as well, but nothing really seemed to be, going on more at this current moment in time. So I'll go with the same back three, which was obviously Anderson, Lockyer, and then Bell on the left side. Would you agree with that, Dad?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. But I think obviously Lockyer's going to start. Anderson there is going to start. But the Bell, that's the problem for me. That's not Bell's natural position, and that's what we need to get someone in, and that's weak on us. Against the bigger teams, he's going to get found out 100% of the times because it's not his natural position, and it's just frustrating. So unless Anderson plays there and we move, Burke is fit enough to play, and then he comes in as well. That's the only kind of change I expect from that. But yeah, that's not good for us.
No, exactly. It's one of them as well where I've said, I feel him and Giles, they should take it in turns in sense where we know they're both really good at going forward, and it feels like since Giles has come in, I know it's only been a few games, but from what I've seen, Bell's not really had that freedom to go forward, and do what we know he's also good at. You saw it in spells under Nathan Jones as well, where he couldn't really go forward, and you see it weren't great. And then obviously when Rob Edwards said to him, he can do that, in that left centre back position, you saw how good he was. So hopefully we get to see at some point they have a little bit of a chop and change. But ideally as well, like we say, we do want to get someone in that position because he does get exposed at times. So yeah, moving on to the wing backs. Obviously, it's going to be Kabore on the right side. You know, obviously on loan from Man City. You know, the loan players you play them as much as possible, and then the left side, Giles. Sure, you agree with that one, Dad?
Yeah, Charles is good. He's definitely going to come, but you know he's 100% potential Premier League quality there. Well, he's got the quality anyway, but for consistent Premier League player, and that I'm pretty sure that'll be proven. That could be to our advantage in this game if you look at the Ward Prowse coming forward and getting them 2 assists and that. Like Giles has got that quality. He's definitely got that quality. So 100% starting him, and then the young Man City right back. He looked good in spells as well. You know, he's a bit patchy, hasn't he? Obviously, a bit rusty, but you could see that he just needs to get the cog right, and he'll be firing all cylinders. So yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely. There was a tackle in that Brighton game, wasn't there? That was proper, really good tackle that got everyone up off their seats, sort of thing. So,
he's very pacey as well, and I think pace on the wings and into Elijah and Morris is going to be pretty much key in it for us if we're going to score any goals.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And then the 3 in midfield, I'm going with 2, behind the cam. So I'm going to go with Barkley. I feel he's ready now. Obviously, it makes sense to put him in this type of game as well with the experience he's got. In the Premier League, it's going to boost our players even more as well. And then on the right side, I would go with Nakamba, who needs to perform better. We know that for sure. He has been given away a bit. Silly fouls at times. And then just ahead, I would go with Chong, who's obviously looked very good. As we expect. Really as the cam. So, yeah, your thoughts on that one, Dad?
I think to be fair, Nakamba will definitely start, and he'll be looking to operate just in front of the defence. We need that, and he's quite capable on his day of doing that in the Premier League. But for me, I think Barkley will be the kind of the furthest midfielder forward, and then Chong will be helping out, latching onto them passes, but making the forward runs that he's capable. He's got a lot of quality as well, and he's gonna come good. So, yeah.
And then 2 up front, it goes without saying, really, doesn't it? Morris and Elijah. Obviously we've heard that people say that in a different way, but yeah, no, it's got to be them 2, hasn't it? Really, without shutting it out.
Morris was obviously my man of the match in the Brighton game, and he looks like he's ready. He's strong, he's physical, his hold-up play is good. We just need Elijah. Elijah, for me, I was only 1 game in, but it was very similar to how he started last season. He was quite slow, getting into the swing of things. But on his day, he's going to hurt defences. But we've got the strength and the height in there. We don't want to take advantage of any set pieces and make them key, because the scoring from open play, sometimes in the Premier League, you need that extra bit of quality that just break the team up, And we've got players who are capable of doing it, but we haven't got it. But certain other team members, squads have got it. 3 or 4 players that can do that. We've got 1 or 2 players potentially who can do that. So, but we'll see. Hopefully, we've got a stronger bench.
I got a few. No Nakamba?
We put Nakamba in.
Yeah, Nakamba's there.
Oh, no Ruddock.
Nah, this is where I'd be putting Barkley in. Ruddock, I feel going forward he is going to be more of a bench player as well, especially if Barkley coming in. It's only right for me, especially if the experience Barkley's got. And like I said, he's had more than enough time to be ready for this game. He's had pretty much 2 weeks.
I was thinking maybe bringing on Barkley for the last 30 minutes, just if you need a goal, just the play.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise if he is on the bench, but he looks decent. They've come out and said he's ready, and for me, because of the affinity with Chelsea, etc. And he's got a point to prove.
Yeah.
I think you've got to start him, and he has got that ability. There's no denying that. So,
and like I say, it's one of them where he'll be on the pitch and he'll just motivate the players even more, boost them in that sense, really. So I feel it's only right. But what we're getting to now is obviously score predictions. We'll let Goonie go first because I know he's got to shoot off very shortly. So yeah, thank you for coming on again. But how do you see this going?
Respectfully, I'm going to say 3-1 Chelsea. I have to be optimistic, and we've got to get a result soon. So I'm going to say 3-1 Chelsea. I'm going to trust the manager to get the result.
That's fair enough. Like you say, you do need to get to winning ways definitely soon. But I know you have got to shoot off, like I said. So thank you for coming on again, and just let the people quickly know where they can find you.
Man Knows Football is where you can find me on the YouTube, and it's the same on the social. So yeah, man, make sure you find me there. Before I go, Gareth Southgate out. Bless up, people.
So yeah, big up to Goonie for coming on there. Obviously, you could only do half an hour, so we had to sort of roll with it quick. Hence why I didn't get the lineup up as well, because you know how long that likes to take on this laptop. But Hanno, your score prediction, mate. How do you see this one going?
I can almost say three results. I can say 1-0 to either team, a 1-1 draw, and a 2-1 to us. I might be negative, but I'm going to say 1-1 draw to Luton. To us, 1-1 draw.
That's fair enough.
In this game.
Obviously, you know, over the years you have had a few of them, you know, sticky sort of games, as we know. Obviously, there was a few last season, so it's fair enough. You know, sometimes, especially the first game, you don't expect it to be the score that it is. So that makes sense. Dad, your score prediction? How do you see this one going? Friday night football under the lights.
I think we've got to put in a performance as well. You know, we know they've got dangerous players, so we have to perform. Last season our away form was good. I can't see us not scoring there. So, but I'm going to go for 2-2.
2-2.
Nice.
Okay.
Nice. Now, my score prediction. How do I see it going? I was thinking one or two things, you know, especially after that game. Obviously, you know, Chelsea, you know, not started off so great. So I was looking at it, you know, especially after that defeat to West Ham, going, do you know what? We can make. But I was getting a little bit too excited in that sense. But you never know. Like I say, it is a Friday game. You know, Chelsea haven't obviously started off overly great, but I feel they are due a win soon. And I feel it might be here. But I do think we'll make a very good account of ourselves and it won't be a battering, you know, like loads of people are saying. So based on that, I'm going to go over 2-1 victory for Chelsea. I can see us scoring. I can't see us not scoring, especially, you know, over the years as well in the FA Cup. You know, they've been tight games. You know, obviously the 3-2, you know, that weren't even loads of our main players weren't even in that game, and we made a good account of ourselves. Obviously, they were club world champions then as well. You know, I remember Eisted come on. You know, he was in the Vanarama National League South the season before on loan. You know, obviously there was a few others as well that are not, you know, here anymore that was playing in that one. Mendes, Gomez, Cornick, etc. And then even the 3-1, you know, previous to that, we done well for a while, and then their quality just shone through really. So I expect it to be a tight game again. But yeah, that is that. Upon that, we'll go through other people's score predictions. Jackie says, big up to Jackie inside as well, another regular. She says, I'm going for a 1-1 draw. I'd be happy with that. And like I always say, Jackie is very good when it comes to the predictions. So hopefully she's right. I'll be more than happy with a draw in this one. With that, there's a couple couple of score predictions I'm not liking, but it's everyone's opinion at the end of the day.
Yeah, I would love a 3-0. Because even if you look at our fixtures coming up, we got a few good fixtures. We got Forest, Bournemouth, and Luton, and then we play a Newcastle. So not a Newcastle, Villa against Villa. So can get maybe 4 wins and then play them. I would be happy with that, but at this moment, not yet.
Fair enough. Fair enough with that. Luca reckons this is where Chelsea will turn up and get their first win. It's gone 3-0. He reckons it'll be a fantastic show for them. Chelsea fan, who is obviously a Chelsea fan, as you can tell by his name, it's gone 1-0 to Luton. So that's interesting. I mean, I'll definitely take that clean sheet.
I can see it. I can see it.
Nah, I can't.
It could be one of
Yeah,
those nights.
it's difficult for me to see that. Obviously, we've all got our own opinions, but I just can't see Chelsea not scoring,
Nah, neither.
especially at home. You know.
If Raheem Sterling plays like he did in the
Oh yeah. That's someone we definitely got to watch out for. Yeah.
yeah,
Maybe I'm giving too much respect to Luton. Maybe.
yeah, and there's that unknown factor. There's a lot of pressure on Chelsea to actually beat us. Not just beat us, but beat us well. It's almost similar to a boxing match where I don't know, Fury against someone that's kind of unknown, that you're expecting him to knock him out in the first 2 rounds. You know what I'm saying? And that's kind of the pressure that they're under by the fans and that. And it shouldn't. If that goes through to the players, they will get very, very frustrated, especially if we do score first. So it's going to be, and I think it's going to happen a lot in the season. But obviously, if we start doing quite well, then team probably they will give us more respect. But this is one of them where we've got nothing to lose, so hence why I've gone for the draw like that.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. Obviously, like you said, there's not that pressure on us as well. And it's going to be like that in a lot of games because it just is. Newly promoted, we're just getting heavily underestimated, really. So it's all interesting. Luca says, and there is other score predictions which I do need to get into. Chelsea don't sign striker. He reckons you get 6th to 7th. What do you reckon on that, Hanno?
No, I think we will be fine. Kenku, I think he will be back, and it will be back to normal with us. There has been a hint that Enzo might start in the 10. I wouldn't be against that. Um, so yeah, but we will see. We will see what happens. Really, but I don't think it's that necessary striker right now. Like Luca mentioned, Tony. I think we might sign him maybe. So yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. And then Chris from earlier, he put in 2-1 to Chelsea. Same prediction as me when it comes to that. But yeah, that's everything when it comes to the Chelsea preview. So yeah, obviously big up Hanno as well for coming on. Much
Yeah.
appreciated.
And of
Go on.
course, if Luton do draw against us or beat us, um, it will be a year we go. For me, as a Chelsea fan, going to Luton, I will be going to Luton and going over to them playing a bit of football there. If Luton do draw, of course, it all depends on the visa sorting out. So we will see.
So he's doing a loan move, guys. He's
Yeah,
gonna
no,
be moving to the town on loan if it doesn't go in a way of a Chelsea victory. But jokes aside, appreciate you coming on, mate. Just let the people know, even though majority of the people know, but to the people that don't, where they can find you.
yeah. On YouTube, Coach's Corner. And then on Instagram, mostly you can. That's probably the most. Besides Twitter, that's the one I mainly use. Underscore Coach underscore Corner. So yeah. Go find me there. And yeah, be up yourselves. Enjoyed it.
There we go. There we go. But yeah, obviously there is one more thing we want to get into, Dad. Obviously, a talking point has come out today. That is obviously Freeman has obviously left the club, which, to be fair, we knew it was going to happen anyway. It was just one where it was a matter of time before it was announced. You know, he's had a few goals for Luton, but obviously he's had a lot of injury problems. You know, he hasn't really been able to do what we thought he could do when he come in, sort of thing, because of these injuries. You know, I remember when we signed him, we were happy because he's a fairly big name. You know, another one of them that he could go in the Snodgrass category, where it's a big name. It's like, yes, okay. But he had a few moments, goals against QPR. There was someone else, but I can't remember who it was from the top of my head. But a lot of injury problems for him, unfortunately. But wish him all the best. He tried. He tried. At times. But yeah, that's that. Your thoughts on this when it got announced today?
Yeah, listen. When you sign a few players, you're signing 8-10 players a season. There's always going to be one that doesn't quite make it or get into the team as much, etc., etc. We could see, like, for me, he tried to do too much. He tried to be the main guy a little bit at times when he was playing. He's obviously got undoubted ability and stuff, but it's not really working out for us. If you compare it with the rest of the squad and things like that, plus the players we've signed, so it was inevitable that he was going to go. But I wish him all the best, and I'm sure he'll do well wherever he goes.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And even if he goes, further down, which I expect that he will, he'll be a very good signing, for whoever it will be, because he's got that experience, and he's a good player. He is a good player. He just didn't quite, live up to expectation, maybe what we expected. And obviously the injuries didn't really help with that either, really. So it's one of them, but wish him all the best and that sort of thing, really. But that is that upon that. Is there anything else you'd like to talk about, Dad, before we start to wrap up?
Nah, just got to look forward to it. Don't listen to all the naysayers. Do you know what I mean? Like, they've expected to beat us. This, because before a ball was kicked, Chelsea away, we wouldn't have been looking initially to think, yeah, we definitely can beat them and this, that, and the other. But we have got a good opportunity to at least get a draw tomorrow, and I believe that we can.
Yeah, look, like I've said, the games over the years they've been tight. Obviously, I was at that FA Cup one, and we didn't even have our main sort of lineup out. Which I did expect. I was saying it to you beforehand. I said it at the time because obviously our main priority was playoffs. But I thought maybe we'd have, some of the bigger names for us, just due to the fact, to make a good account of ourselves. But we still played well, and I shouldn't have really fallen for that, because I was also saying when we played Man United and lost 3-0 in the end, large parts of that game it was tight, and I remember Kioso was starting that game, and we weren't too sure on him at that time. We was questioning it a little bit, but he turned out to be the man of the match for us in that game, I remember. So, it's one of them. It's one of them, and it links into the players. The underestimation they're getting from a lot of people. They'll be used to it. And I think it just spurs us on, really, sort of thing. You've seen it. See it last season, and even Brighton fans, in that victory they got, they said if we play like how we did, even though it was a 4-1 loss, if we play like how we did, say, when it was 2-1 for large parts of the season, then we got a good chance of staying up, and that is the truth. So, yeah, it is. A memory we don't really like to go back to on that one. Obviously, that FA Cup game was with Jed Steer. Yeah, that was very unfortunate. Obviously got that horrific injury, and it was gutting because obviously he was playing very well at the time. And again, it just shows the luck we've got with goalkeepers, and touch wood, both the keepers this season. You know, nothing like that happens to any of them or any injuries at all. So, yeah, it is one of them. But obviously, if you are going to the game tomorrow, then do enjoy it. You know, make the most of it. Obviously, it's a good away day to do. Obviously, if you are watching on TV, and enjoy it as well. Obviously, I will be doing a watch long, first watch long of the season. Not sure if I'm going to do one to West Ham yet. Let you lot know nearer the time. And in Tottenham, if I don't manage to go to that, and like I say, it's going to be difficult because we are in the Premier League, don't have a season ticket or anything. And I will be doing a watch long to that one, and I'll hopefully try and get a Tottenham fan on for that one as well. So that will be an interesting one. But yeah, don't forget to smash a like if you haven't already. The current like count is, I'll be able to tell you when this decides to load. Actually, while it's doing that, I'll check the subscriber count and all of that. So we are 5 away from 1,800. So we're currently still on the same as we was before we went live. So big up to yourself. But the current like count is on 10 likes. So big up to yourselves. Don't forget to smash that like button if you haven't already. I know a lot of people watch this back on playback as well. So don't forget to smash a like there. And then obviously the guests that have come on today, obviously Goonie and Hanno. Obviously I've put both of their channels in the title. So you can just click on it and then go and subscribe from there to them if you haven't already. And yeah, follow me across any of my socials if you're not already. And yeah, subscribe to the other channel as well, T-Boys TV Extra. And until tomorrow for the watch long, I'll see you lot in a bit. Obviously, we'll be back again with a hat show. Not sure when. Hopefully Saturday or Sunday. So then, because obviously we've got that Gillingham game, maybe even Monday. No, actually no. When is the Gillingham game? Tuesday or Wednesday?
Tuesday.
I think it's a Tuesday, isn't it? If it is the Tuesday, we'll be back again on a Monday with a preview, and then if it is on Wednesday, we'll be back again on Tuesday. But obviously, we'll do a hat show before that to talk about this game because obviously that's what we're going to do going forward, just as easier and yeah, that sort of thing. It's not throwing loads of content into one sort of thing. So there we go with that. But yeah, that is everything for today in this hat show. So yeah, like I say, I'll be back again tomorrow with a watch along to this one, and then my dad will see you in the next couple of days for reaction to this one. If we get a positive result, it's very good. If we lose, as long as the performance is there, you can't be too disheartened. Especially with how much Chelsea has spent, really. But we'll see. It could go literally any way, especially if how they've started. But we will see. So until then, take care and peace. Up the town. Come on.